Join me today as I build my dream streaming and gaming PC. I'll put links in the description for everything used in the video. This isn't my first PC build, and with this build, I did my research and I didn't cheap out on stuff like previous builds. So the crown jewel, the CPU, the Ryzen 7 9800X3D, hailed as the best gaming chip out right now. For the motherboard, I have the ROG Strix B850F gaming Wi-Fi. And for the RAM, which was a total freaking ripoff, I paid $490 for this. We used to be a proper country. Corsair Vengeance RGB DDR5, 32 gigabytes. For the case, it's out of the box because I had my last PC in this case. But this is a great case. The Corsair 4000D frame, you can take apart the whole freaking case. To cool my gaming CPU, I have the Corsair Nautilus 360 RS ARGB AIO. The graphics card I'll be using is the MSI 5070. Very nice card, I've already used it before. I'll be powering everything with the Corsair 750 watt power supply, the RM750. Now I spent a lot on this build, and after getting ripped off with the RAM, I didn't want to get ripped off with storage, so I just stripped my old PC of some storage. Maybe I'll buy some down the line when it gets cheaper. For my main drive, I'm gonna have the WD Black SN770 NVMe. It's Gen 4. And as a backup drive, I have a 256 gigabyte SSD. I'll put more storage in when prices go down. I've wasted enough time talking. Let's get to building this thing. I've been waiting all weekend to do this. Let's open this motherboard up. And remember, cut towards your buddy, not your body. Ooh, that's a nice looking motherboard. Nicest motherboard I ever had. Got the antenna for the Wi-Fi. Looks like we got some goodies besides a motherboard. Look at this. Ha, we got stickers. Who doesn't like stickers? Got a keychain. That's nice. Looks like we got some SATA cables, some little tiny zip ties. I am gonna get the manual out because we probably will need this. As you can see, I have wood floors. I wouldn't recommend building a PC on carpet. They come in a anti-static bag, which I'm gonna lay down and lay the motherboard on top. And I do have a metal case here that I occasionally tap in case I have any static electricity. Little thing of felt on the backside, I'll just leave that on. Don't want to forget this, it has some warning. It doesn't have a latch or anything, so you gotta pull it from the end, the backside up to release it, which is freaking weird. This is a nice board. You got the rear AIO built in. It lights up the eye of the ROG Strix. And these graphics here, a lot of people don't like it, but it definitely has some 80s retro vibe, which I like. Real quick, I'm just gonna peel this plastic off before I do anything else. Here and here, and on the AIO. Because I have a feeling I could forget. First thing I'm gonna do is install my NVMe. This has a quick release feature. You just pull back this. Comes right up. There's some plastic on both ends I'm gonna remove. This one also. Damn it. Regret cutting my fingernails. All right, let's seat her in there. There, just clicks right in. Now we're gonna put this back on. There, storage is in. Next on the list is a CPU. You just pull out this lever. Damn it. Easier said than done. Lift up. Okay, all the pins look good. Be very careful with this thing. This thing is very expensive. Real quick, I'm just gonna... Okay, pins and everything look good. Yeah, there's an arrow, a triangle arrow in the corner and one here. So pretty much you put it in so it says AMD like this, AMD Ryzen, across like that. I'm gonna grab it from the sides. I'm gonna grab it from the side here. Set that down. We're just gonna set her in there. Like so. Give her a little wiggle. Okay, she's in. Set that down. This should pop right off. And keep this. I always keep this just in case I need to return my motherboard or something. Before I install my RAM, since I do have this AIO, I'm gonna be putting the bracket on to hold the cooler in first. I'm gonna remove the bracket on the motherboard to accompany the AIO bracket parts. And for the record, I use a screwdriver with a magnetic tip. Just remove this. See, just sticks right on there. Comes in handy when you're putting in the motherboard to the case. The AIO came with 4 thumb screws. We're gonna put these in place where that original bracket was, in the screw holes. As tight as they go. Doing this stuff is much easier outside of the case. Tight as they'll go. Hand tight. See, they're all on there now. See, ain't that better? Let's install this freaking RAM. What a ripoff, $490. For the RAM, to run dual channel RAM, right here it shows you A2 and B2, which are these. Slot 2 and 4 for the RAM. Need a firm push down with the RAM, both sides. I always double check. If you don't have it seated, your computer's not going to read it. Slot 2 and 4. There, felt that click in. There, see? Had a little bit more to go. There, we got our 32 gigs of RAM in. Now, let's get this damn thing in the case, for crying out loud. Your case should definitely come with some standoffs. Since this is an ATX case and motherboard, I'm putting the standoffs in every one that says A. But this also fits micro ATX and mini. Nice and easy. Everything here is expensive. There, fits great. Now you're gonna screw in your motherboard with the screws that came with your case. See, this is why I got the magnetic tip. Get them nice and snug. You don't need to impact drill these freaking things. And in this part of the build, make sure you don't miss a screw. So double freaking check. I've done that before. I'm not perfect, I know. Oh, there's one right in that corner too. It's going pretty smooth. This is a nice motherboard. If you like it, definitely click my link and buy it. I'll make like $3. See, you gotta have the magnetic tip, man. Otherwise, this would be very difficult. There, that's one of the best parts. Now your motherboard's nice and safe inside your case. What I like to do always after I install my motherboard is hook up all the cords from the case. This one is your USB 3.0. This is the USB-C for the front panel. Now, if you have AM4, you're probably not going to use this. And then this is what I always refer to in the manual, the power switch, reset switch, and LEDs. Always got to look in the manual for these little ones. And then HD audio. This one's pretty easy to find. Usually on the bottom front. And then I have the RGB and the fan header from the case, the 3 case fans. Now, while I have this standing up, I'm just gonna look and route my cables to where they go on the board. I can see my USB-C and my USB 3.0 right there. We got those. Just kind of snake them through. And then where's my HD audio? The audio's usually always down here in the corner. So we're gonna snake it. And keep in mind, I'm doing this anyway, but it'll probably be in the way of my power supply, but I'll get to that when I get to that. Front panel connections usually are right here, and I will be referring to my manual for that. Now I'm gonna lay the case down and plug these in. First one I'm gonna plug in is my USB 3.0. It has a notch in the plug, and your motherboard also has a notch where it plugs in. Go ahead and plug that in, push it down, make sure it's firmly seated. Right above that, my USB-C, which almost looks like an I, a capital I. Gonna plug that in. You know, give them a wiggle, make sure they're fully seated. Almost always the bottom left-hand corner is for HD audio. And your HD audio plug it's hard to see, but it has a missing hole. So it's blank with no hole. You'll line that up with the missing prong on your motherboard. Get that firmly seated. As far as these ones go, keep your motherboard manual for the front panel connectors. And with the 4000D, it comes, this plugs into this. They both say front panel. Just connect them. And then you connect this to your motherboard. My front panel's right here, lower right-hand corner. They're usually there. I did a dry fit and figured this is the best orientation in the case, like this. Since this is my orientation, I'm gonna have the plugs for my RGB facing the back. And this is the exhaust of the fan. You can tell by the fins. So I'll be daisy chaining something like this. It comes with long screws. This is how you do it. You go through here, screw it in. Might be easier if I just set this damn thing down. There, that's much easier. Much easier. Now, whenever I screw anything in, I like going diagonal. So we're gonna start with the diagonals. Nice and snug. Actually, wasn't quite the orientation I was going for. There, that's better. Ain't that better? Long screws. Don't do it the other way around or else you're gonna have a bad day. I'm gonna screw in these 3 fans and then I'm gonna daisy chain them together. But for now, I'm just doing the diagonals. Diagonals first, then I'll do the rest. Then after that, we're gonna mount this in the case. Then we're gonna hook up the AIO. As soon as my diagonals are snug, I'll do the rest. But before I forget, let me start daisy chaining these things together. Plug into this one. Okay, I got those daisy chain. Now I'm gonna put the rest of the screws in. After trying to fit the AIO in there, I realized I need to plug in my 2 CPU cords from the power supply because it would be way too difficult after the fact. So for now, I'm just gonna route these through here. Then they can meet my power supply when I'm ready for that. Yeah, these AM5s take 2 freaking CPU plugs. Do this one first. It would have just been way too difficult. Hear that click? Here's the next one. There. Now I can just have these hanging out the back for when I'm ready for the power supply. Now we're gonna mount the AIO. Okay, upon further review, I feel like I need to mount this on the CPU before I mount the fan because everything is becoming very difficult. It comes with pre-applied thermal paste. I'm gonna switch out this AM4 bracket for the AM5 bracket. Now we're gonna line up with the thumb screws. You know, I'm gonna take this off for a sec. Now we're gonna screw these in diagonal as always. Here, let me screw these damn things down. Going diagonal. Pretty snug already. It's got the other 2 on. Wasn't expecting it to be this difficult today. I'm just cramming a lot into this case. Okay, let's screw these down. Pretty much just screw them till you can't. Screw them till you can't screw them anymore. And that'll be tight enough. Take that off. Damn it. This freaking thing. There. It's magnetic. God damn, this thing likes moving. Now I'm gonna plug the pump into the header that says AIO. And for the RGB, I'm going to run these ones towards the back of the case. For this part, this is where the tiny screws with the washer come into play. In this case, I've already adjusted it to size. And everything you see today is purchased from Best Buy. Now, let's get this in place finally. Get one screw in just to hold this damn thing. Now we'll do the diagonal screw. Try and hold this damn thing in place. Now I'll just put on the rest of the screws. All right, let's get the graphics card in now. Tired of not showing off this damn thing. I've already used this on my previous system. Very nice card. It's huge. It came with an anti-sag bracket, but I don't need it because this case comes with a bracket. Yeah, look at this bad boy. That's a big boy. And if you're thinking about getting this graphics card, get an ATX case because you won't be able to fit this in a micro. It's way too big. Beautiful card. I already removed the two brackets for the exhaust. So what we're gonna do, and I have my bracket adjusted already. Line up, push it in. There we go. She's in there now. Now I just need to put back the screw, hold this thing in place. Make sure it's fully seated. Now it's time for the power supply. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna hook up the 24-pin motherboard and I'm gonna hook this up and just finagle it through the case. And then I'll work with the power supply on the other side. This is the cord that came with the graphics card. Plugs in a double PCIe. It's gonna finagle that through the case. Plug this in, make sure it's seated. Now I'm gonna plug in the motherboard. So much stuff in the way now. Oh yeah, make sure you have it going the right way. I didn't have that going the right way. All right, I got everything plugged in. Now I'll meet you on the other side with the power supply. This is a really nice power supply. It's fully modular, which means there's nothing coming off of it. So I got my motherboard, SATA, which I'm gonna hook up a solid state drive, 256 gigabyte, to hold a couple games. I'll plug in my two CPUs into here and my graphics card into here. Let me start with the SATA. I'm gonna have it on the furthest one. So from here, I'm gonna plug in my graphics card, my two CPUs, and my 24-pin motherboard. Graphics card. And then the grand finale, the 24-pin motherboard. Glad this one separates. Usually these are all one. This one's nice, it separates. Okay, now I'm just gonna slide this in and plug her in. Just gonna slide this in here and then screw it into place. Gonna screw this in with the screws that came with the power supply. They say 4 PSU. Do a diagonal. Might take some finagling. These screws came with the case. So for this case, I only need the 2 screws, and this case does the rest. I forgot to mention a part I'm using in this build, Corsair Commander Pro. It's what I'm gonna be using to control all my RGB fans. I have the 3 on top, 3 in the front connected to one, and then the back fan, which I did not show myself installing. Basically, this goes to USB on the front of your board. I'll show you. Any USB header, that USB header right there, there's two in the front. Then you have your fan plugins here and your RGB plugins here. These are for temperature. I'm gonna put one at the top and at the bottom of the case. See what happens. I mean, this thing is magnetic somewhere. I'll finagle that in there somehow. But yeah, now it's just cable management time, and we're gonna turn this damn thing on. And this is a nice case. This removes, and I was able to screw in my 256 gigabyte SSD. I might just put a couple games on this for now. But when prices go down in storage, which they never will, I'm gonna get a 2 terabyte NVMe. And that front panel holds like 4 more besides that one I put the initial drive in. Man, this thing's looking pretty good so far though. All right, I tried updating the BIOS. I'm about to power this thing on. It's just been, I've had a solid green light for like ever now. ChatGPT says it's okay to power this thing on, so cross your fingers, wish me luck. Ooh, that's pretty. Let's see if I get anything. Oh, okay, I am getting some message on the screen. All right, well, I'm gonna troubleshoot this thing and probably do a montage of this thing on, and hopefully I didn't break the damn thing. Well, that's it for the PC build, folks. And I know I did not show putting Windows on a USB and loading Windows onto the PC. Sue me. There's way better videos out there that can explain it better than I can. And I always do Pro versions, so I have Windows 10 Pro. I bought a cheap CD key from Hyper Beast or Hyper Keys or something like that. And I did end up successfully updating my BIOS. Again, there's better videos out there than I can explain on the internet. And I've had an issue with this. When I tried to do the EXPO profile, which makes my RAM run at 6,000 megahertz, it just crashes my whole damn system, like black screen, everything. If you ever run into problems building your own PC, Google Gemini's your best friend. It's way better than ChatGPT. I was uploading pictures and talking to that thing like all day yesterday, screwing around with this damn thing. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to building. So, like putting the parts together is easy. It's like Legos, but the technical software stuff and BIOS, that's a whole nother can of worms. So until there's a new release of a BIOS update, I ain't turning on the EXPO. So the RAM's running at 4,800 megahertz. But hopefully this video could help someone out there if they're building a PC. And if you made it this far, which I'm sure no one did, consider subscribing. And don't forget to tune in to the Cineguso streams, where you'll see what this thing can really do. I edited this video in DaVinci Resolve, and there was like no lag at all. Like editing in 4K, smooth as butter. One of the main games I play is Fallout 76, and when I loaded it up, I was like over 200 frames per second, which I have 165 refresh monitor. So I just capped it at 165, but yeah, it damn near doubled my FPS from my old build, which was AM4 with the 5600X. the regular YouTube jargon, like, comment, subscribe. At least I saved that for the end instead of right in the beginning of the video like some of these people do. But I'll catch y'all later. Cineguso out.